Alrighty, Toronto, it is time for your elimination final. Minnesota Røkkr taking on the New York Subliners, and well, when these two teams have been up previously, it has been crazy pretty much every time. In fact, 2 occasions it's gone down to a Game 5, round 11. But this bad boy, this is what it's all about. Whoever makes it through this series will face off against Atlanta FaZe in our grand finals. But now it is time to introduce our teams. We're starting off with the boys who are in the midst of an unbelievable run in the elimination bracket. Stand clear for the New York Subliners. HyDra, Skyz, KiSMET, and Priestahh, the New York Subliners.
It seems like everybody forgot about the New York Subliners. These are the Major 1 champions. They won in December, and they're looking to get a championship in 2023. HyDra has been insane, but don't forget, the MVP on that stage was also KiSMET, so they're expecting to get another W and play FaZe in the final. It's going to be a good game, though. Let's bring out Minnesota from up north.
Let's do it, Nameless. We've met the New York Subliners, and now it is time to meet their opponent. They're looking for the rebound, hot off of a loss versus the Atlanta FaZe. How will they manage to handle adversity? But for those who forget, this is what they've been doing all season long, and now is their opportunity to do it on the brightest of stages. Toronto, make some noise for the Minnesota Røkkr! Bance, Cammy, Fame, and Attach, the Minnesota Røkkr.
We have had a different winner at every single major so far this year, and the Minnesota Røkkr are the last team looking to grab a chip. All serious faces across the board, and there's no better stage to solidify the Kings of the North than at the Toronto Major. They have to get through the New York Subliners. Can they keep up with the pace? I'm ready to get this match started, Lando.
It's going to be a blast, Allie. Toronto is ready. I'm seeing some wild signs over in the crowd. Everybody is ready for this matchup. Who will move on to the grand finals? We will find out right now. Bryce and Ton, take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Lando. Yes, we are here. And if you had Atlanta FaZe, New York, and Røkkr in your top 3, we probably had a really good pick-em, to be honest with you, because I don't think anyone else actually did. But we have to find out who goes through into that grand final. New York, who've been on a run, or Røkkr, who just suffered a loss?
Yeah, for Røkkr, it's about that bounce back. You have to be significantly better than you were this morning. They came out very, very flat. And for the side of New York Subliners, just keep doing what you're doing. Silence the home crowd a little bit. I'd imagine the home crowd will now probably be on Røkkr's side. So let's see which way the crowd will swing. But I think it's a tougher one to call. A lot of people will be leaning towards the side of the New York Subliners. But for Røkkr, they've looked good most of the weekend. Yes, okay, you go against the FaZe side, but FaZe have been making everyone look pretty silly. So can Røkkr now bounce back and find that form again?
Well, here's the rub. Here's the issue. Here's the problem that we are going to have to be honest about. Røkkr have not had the strongest of opponents. They've not had LA Thieves. They've not had anybody but Atlanta to really test them at this event so far. And with a hot New York coming out of that last game, Røkkr are going to have to have regained fully. They are going to have to find a different level to take down this team. New York knows what it takes to win a major. Røkkr have not been there before.
New York Subliners starting this game in the same way they did the last on Greenberg Hotel Hardpoint. Impressive there, as they have been pretty much all year long when it has come down to it. HyDra and Co are such a hard team to deal with. Can Minnesota Røkkr do anything about this resurging New York Subliners roster? Or can Subliners solidify a date with FaZe in the grand finals?
Well, we will see. They go towards it as well, but it looks like they have woken up this time, at least getting a few kills on a P1. I actually overheard a conversation earlier between Attach and JCap. Attach says, yeah, I was just asleep this morning. Just not a good start for us, but what have they done in the meantime to regain forward as well? 20 points straight on the board off of P1. It's not a bad soak for Røkkr. New York, though, will be looking to put the damage in around P2.
Good shots coming in from Priestahh. Yeah, putting the damage down. Minnesota Røkkr finding 20 over towards P1 is probably going to be influential because you look over towards it for the side of New York. 189 points over P1 to P3 on 2 different rotations this morning going up against, of course, Toronto Ultra. So it's going to be important that Røkkr do not let too much bleeding happen over towards these first few hills. It is going to be the spawn time, the control over towards the backside. Now for Minnesota Røkkr trying to find a breakthrough from the stairs. Fame very much on his own. Spawn over towards the dual side as Minnesota Røkkr slow to the punch here. With a slight lead heading over towards P2.
Fame being on the back stairs, it could be the key that they need. Trying to stay alive. Bance going to reinforce. They have got players in the area they need. Unfortunately, the other team has a KiSMET and a HyDra and a clear and a wipe and a hold.
10 seconds to go before this lead changes hands. New York Subliners holding this so effectively as they did this morning as well. The kills just not flying through for Røkkr. They got massively outslayed by FaZe, and so far so good for Subliners. Cammy though can't answer back. Spawns towards the backside now for Røkkr with 20 seconds to go. They're just going to lick their wounds and move over towards the kitchen side. I think Minnesota Røkkr maybe get 1 or 2 points. Bearing in mind the Scrapz is still here though. They would like that as well.
Doing it for one last chow attach will have it, but it will all be about this rotation. HyDra and KiSMET moving into action. The SMG of Fame will be the first man here for Røkkr. It's all about whether or not he can survive the pressure.
Both these two teams with very strong hold percentage. So it's going to be about these rotations, but Fame, no communication coming on through. He has no idea which way they're pushing from. It's a wonderful rotation from the Subliners, and it's a very, very good start. May well find themselves ever slightly behind, but that is about to change hands now. New York Subliners have just been first to the punch over P2 and P3. It's been hard for Røkkr to find a break, and they find one here at Kitchen.
This is unbelievable. New York have been different today. They have been different this weekend. Suffered a loss, but will not comply. Skyz gunning everybody. KiSMET will clean out Kitchen as well. And Minnesota find nothing on the rotation.
As I said at the top of the game, P2, P3, and P1 have been fantastic for the New York Subliners. And we're getting another good example of that. Cammy will pick up the final 15 seconds or so for the side of Minnesota Røkkr. Big kill coming in from Priestahh on rotation. You get attached in that sort of position, then maybe Minnesota Røkkr can get something going. Bance will then find himself there, will get taken down. Rotation again. That's 3 out of 3, other than P1 for the New York Subliners.
I will say this though, Røkkr are not that far behind P1. The numbers they got there have kept them in the race. Can Minnesota turn their forces around though? HyDra still going to be alive. This is a problem when they push in different directions. You'll see Minnesota get it in. It's a big gunfight for Skyz. Opens the door, allows the rest of the Subliners to now make a move onto this. They have the prime position.
Bance is in a good position over towards the couch's side, but he needs everybody else to do their job. Bance gets taken down. Spawns towards the back now for Røkkr. They've got to force their way through. Can't get past the dog of KiSMET. 10 and 6 to kick things off. New York Subliners starting to get a bit more of a comfortable lead. Those rotations will do that. Yes, Røkkr are keeping it close, but it doesn't usually bode well if you've lost 3 out of 3 rotations. Still this hole coming in from New York Subliners. The trades come through, and again, it's looking like another 15 or 20 towards the end in scrap. For Minnesota Røkkr, it will not be that first time. It looks like they're going to have a rotation in their favor. Can they actually do something with it?
That's what we're looking for. HyDra and Cammy going toe-to-toe in the middle. Nothing yet so far. New hill, a new restaurant, a new opportunity. But New York spread across this map like a plague. They are ready to hit every angle. Restaurant is now under siege.
The kill coming in on the Cammy, so Kitchen is now wide open. Attach Bance combining well, though. Bance will find another. The break was looking good for Subliners. They'll take the small win of having Kitchen control, though. Are they going to be able to find the kill on the pinch as well? They've got to get rid of Priestahh. If you are Minnesota, then you have to worry about the Kitchen push. That's now coming on through. 2v2 on the site.
They managed to get a good hold so far, but pressure still flying. Bance and Fame holding this for the time being. Røkkr looking to go back into the lead here, but New York are unrelenting with every attack flying from the angles. But it is gunfight, it is trade and positioning that give Minnesota the advantage here.
Really good job by Minnesota. You talked about them keeping themselves in it after 4 rotations weren't there. This time they get the rotation and find themselves in the lead. Something they haven't been able to get this time around, though, is Kitchen control. They want to try and get rid of HyDra and Co, who are already trying to lock these spawns in as we head over towards Glass in 1 second's time. Bance has made his way over. 4 spree for him. Knows that New York will be here. Checks the corners. Deduces exactly where he should be. And I know where Skyz is. Can he find the gunfight? Not quite. Minnesota Røkkr not too bad of the job, obviously, over towards the restaurant. But first one's here, over towards the glass side. It's going to be the Subliners.
That's a great kill from Skyz. Going to hold them off for just a few more seconds longer. Attack, trying to do everything he can, but it's such a tight angle. And Cammy will find a kill, but KiSMET, they have the better position. New York, they got this rotation first, and they just not allowed Røkkr back in.
Yeah, KiSMET in a good position over towards the kitchen side, can get those AR fights. Just a little bit more difficult for Røkkr to break from the front. This has really been about the rotations all the way through. The majority of the time going over to the team that the first one's there, and it just seems to be the formula for both these two squads on Hotel so far.
And now, as we come to the final cusp of this hill, we go back into the rotation, a slight lead for New York. But it's been a game of inches, a game of minute decisions. This is nowhere near done. Somebody needs a big hole, somebody needs a 60 to get some daylight.
Minnesota Røkkr did close that gap ever so slightly. It was looking a little bit choked after 3 and 4. But they really do need to look for a good rotation over towards P2 here. When it does come down to it in terms of the statistics, you look at it, P2 for New York, they are the second best team in the game on that hill. Minnesota way down at the bottom. They must have a good rotation. They must stop any sort of heavy bleeding that potentially could go on over towards this P2 hill when we go there in 30 seconds. But still, time to play for over towards P1. Right now, it's New York in the prime position.
Bance just waiting for KiSMET as well, and he's just been there for so long in connector, but it isn't going to go their way. They aren't getting the points they want to. They aren't got the rotation either. And look at that minimap. It is a kitchen spawn for Røkkr. They will have to fight just to get scrap time on P1.
15 seconds to go. You got to get moving. You got to start to find some kills in the middle of the map and just hope that the Bermuda triangle of spawns comes in your favor over towards P1. But the kills coming through in the crucial time. And there it is, the triangle. One at kitchen, one at bedroom. You've got to deal with KiSMET towards the back. He's holding it down all on his own. Looking like the rotation's going to come in for Subliners over towards P2 alongside a 30-point lead.
At the moment, New York holding, just waiting. Trying to absorb the pressure coming through, but Bance and Cammy will get 2, and Røkkr, they swipe into this as well. Røkkr won't have known where the Chaos will have gone through, but KiSMET gets 2 towards the back of New York. They have the good spawn. They're going to fly back into this one as well, and Røkkr have been rebuffed. They've been pushed out. Let's find out how they're feeling in the comms.
KiS is broken. KiS is broken. KiS is broken. KiS is going to be rotate.
I'm rolling with you.
KiS is going to be rotate.
1v1 going to go big.
We can bring it back on this.
Yep.
Can't shit.
Do my mid,
Yeah, right. one stop, dub really weak. One could be connected.
All right.
Nice,
yeah, he's already in this.
Yeah, nice, huge.
We're looking for.
Yo, do you have the right, yeah?
Yeah, I have all the right.
Okay, I have middle.
We're looking for HyDra.
Okay, I have middle, boys.
Okay. I have
all the right. Mid is open.
Ben, you play mid desk and I can just hold connector from back.
Team shoot this.
Okay.
Nice.
Standing over you.
I have the mid, boys.
I'll play my top E6.
One bricks.
Nice, guys.
One bricks.
He's close, Cam. They could go low right. Go low right, Cam. Or your top.
I'm about to help them.
I actually
Let's change, Cam.
Dark,
right. Yeah, dark in. Time. Nice.
Top out.
Close. Nice.
Watch out to dark, probably.
I spawn front, boys. They spawn in the back.
Spawn in the back and counters.
I stun you connector, okay? It could be connector. Let me know when you got it.
Looking at dark.
We have beans. Where? He's back door. Back door.
One dark on me.
I've got dark. Give me back door. Watch back door, Kev.
No, hold my dark.
Connector, pinch you.
Yeah,
connector. One more. Yeah, dark dead. Nice, boys.
I'm gonna cut 2 couches.
Listen.
I'm 2 couches, guys.
Yo, I'm gonna get dark. I'm not blocking B dumb. I'm going to check
I'm
it.
going couches. Wait.
Move, Cam. We're good. I think you give me up.
No, he's there. He's needed.
Yes.
1v1.
Listen up. Wait, one more. Yo, let's go.
I'm on new, guys.
I'm sitting back.
Yo, I spawn middle, boys. I'm backing up.
Low bed.
Yeah, we're blocking. I have big, okay?
Okay.
I need top long.
2 bed. I have big. One's got couches. Play couches. They're gonna shout front. They're gonna push out.
Give it up.
I'm hitting up mid. Help.
They're gonna be front of me.
Go, Kev.
Nice. On me, D1, guys. On me,
D1. D1 challenge. He choked. He's close.
Back, weak boys.
And clear and concise comms from Minnesota do get them back into this game. They had the rotation, they've lost it. 20 seconds now for New York.
Oh, it was just a wonderful break for New York Subliners. Fantastic work for Røkkr. We'll have to revisit, though, because this game's going down to the wire. New York Subliners just chipping away, though. They're going to be about 10 seconds away. All of Røkkr fall. New York Subliners, it's their map 1 to lose.
And there is nothing they can do, surely. Minnesota Røkkr are falling by the wayside. Skyz guns 1. Cammy's going to fall as well. Attack will get a kill, but it's 2-0. It's too late. It's New York for the first win on map number 1. Keep on rocking. And a valiant effort there for Minnesota in kitchen. We heard in the comms, they set up for it, they held it. but it all went wrong on the rotation ton.
And I want to say that was the first time we've really seen a big fumble on a rotation from one of these two teams. Every single time the rotation was locked, that team picked up so much time. But that final rotation, New York managed to wipe them off the face of the planet, and they will take the game from that. Really good job from New York. And for me as well, it was as we were going to the listening, P2 again. It looked like Røkkr were going to find a break. They didn't because of KiSMET just staying alive on the stairs for about 5 seconds or so. He was the only one from Subliners anywhere near P2. Stays alive on the stairs. His team spawned over towards the spot side because of that. And then all of a sudden they can walk away, get themselves that little bit closer. And as I said, a valiant effort in terms of the comeback from Røkkr. It was a sensational hold over towards Kitchen. Couldn't do anything wrong at all. But New York Subliners beat them to the punch when it matters.
Yeah, and I've got to say, realistically, New York looked better every step of the game. Over and over again, rotations, kills, slaying. There was only a few highlights really for Røkkr. P1, they did pretty well on. Restaurant, they had a good hold, and that last kitchen one as well is what kept them in the game. Unfortunately, it is not a 3-hill meta. You have to get more on the others.
It's really just rotations every single time for these two teams. Cammy did a great job over towards this side. And you see Røkkr with the first ones here, had the back spawns and just get peeled off the hill. Really good work from the Subliners, everybody chipping in at different times. And this Subliners team look like a scary prospect. They're getting a bit of momentum here throughout this losers bracket. They've still got 2 more maps that they have to win. But FaZe will be looking at this and be very aware that New York Subliners have got the wind in their sails right now.
And look at that massive outslay.
Huge.
A 1.22 to a 0.82. KiSMET, the dog is in him. 1.42 in the end. HyDra doing work as well, but I want to go back and talk about the comms because I feel like we never got a chance to talk about them because realistically we came back so late in the game it was almost over. Røkkr, when you listen to this, probably the clearest comms we've had. I don't know if they've got different microphones or something, but you could hear every word, every setup they were trying to figure out, from the double shot to I've got your mid. There was bad timing on Cammy from HyDra in the end, who got through, but it was a great example of how clear it can be when the players are in the right positions.
Yeah, and I think it really pays testament to that hold percentage that both these two teams have. I believe both in the top 3 when it comes down to Hotel, Hardpoint, and we got a really good example as to why that really works for these teams. You heard that Bance and Fame, like you can hear actually Fame questioning. He's like, oh, I'll watch this, and then Bance, the veteran, is redirecting. He's like, no, let's both watch this. If the child comes through, we can swivel over. No problem. You could hear it. The cogs are whirling in your head as you're listening to exactly what happens. You've got such a clear picture. But ultimately, the problem was that they didn't win enough those rotations to allow those comms to work for them, because so many times that guy right there and the rest of Subliners found the way and found the kills first. And every single time that they were set up, it was so hard for Røkkr to break.
Well, that's one other thing, actually, if you're hitting the comms now. I'm no expert in reading language in that way, but a little bit of fear. We've not found HyDra. We don't know where he is. Where has he gone? And they kind of knew exactly what they had to do to find him first. But while we go about the last game, let's talk about the rest of this major. This is Subliners on LAN. This is how good they have been. Major 1, the champions. Not a great run after that. Major 2 and Major 3, not fantastic. Major 4, though, 2 and 2, they came top 4, but Major 1 was losers bracket time.
Yeah, it was a really big run through the losers bracket as well. Looking over those 4, kind of a little bit of a poo sandwich. Not too good in the middle, but great on the outside. Lovely stuff from the Subliners to kick off the season, and not too bad at the last major. They have started to get back into things here and have looked very, very scary since they lost to Ultra on day number 1. Everyone has been getting it. And they are looking to continue against Minnesota Røkkr here with a confident search and destroy. Røkkr, for me, you know, in their resurgence as a team, since they have been looking a lot better, it's been their hard points that have been making the difference. They lose map number 1, backs firmly against the wall.
Well, let's see. New York looking for a historic run here, Ton. And this map favors them.
It does. 4-1 from the side of the New York Subliners. Hadn't really played it that much at all, but very recently it's entered the rotation and they've been doing well on it. For the side of Røkkr, sitting at 3 and 6, but a lot of the time they are going down to the very final rounds. Not quite able to clutch up, but they have been there or thereabouts for the most of the time. New York Subliners, it's a big B hit coming in over ready. watching Skyz, but we really need to be keeping an eye on what's going on with Bance. He's got 3 members of New York Subliners on his way in. HyDra's the first to fall. Bance can't find the second, or can he? It's Attach here to help the rounders best of the life.
And how on earth he stayed alive there? They actually had him stun-chained. They knew he was going to be here. Attach is going hunting with him as well. Attach moving into a position, and Skyz with the sniper has found one, but will not find the second. That round is over. Røkkr with the first blood.
Really good job from the Minnesota Røkkr. Bance does well enough, and well, it's round number 1, so you're going to get that information coming on through. You're going to hear these players make the push from the B side. You'll be hearing stomp, 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 stomp. That sounds like a Frenchman that's about to fly at me. And rightfully so, he holds it down. The rest of his team here to help him out as well. Good job from Attach, and that's something that, you know, he's really going to help the side with in terms of the search and destroy. The man is icy, to say the least. Feels like a round that Røkkr needed to kick things off here after that close defeat in map number 1. Now it's their turn on the attacking side. Keep an eye on these nades. They were very effective with them in previous iterations of Mikado S&D over this weekend. Get some air control now. What can they do with it?
This side control, they're going to try to just clear it out first, but KiSMET has already made a move. This causes problems for Minnesota. They're worried now about the flank as well, and Cammy will fall outnumbered.
Finn gets the stretch. KiSMET can do nothing about that. Now it has to be a 3 versus 4 hold. And where does the push come from? From New York Subliners. Skyz has been so effective with this tool all weekend long, and now they just enforce over towards the side. Here we go. KiSMET inside of Cantina finds Bance. 2v4, making it 2v3.
KiSMET can get off. No, it's Fame who gets 2. Still outnumbered. HyDra will bring it back. It's a 1 versus 2 now. Drazah's going to be popped. Attach. Last one alive. Time is on his side, but he must stay for a few more seconds. Finds the first. Cannot get out of there. They work in concert. New York Subliners with the retake.
3 spree for HyDra. And him inside of Cantina is just such an issue. He finds the kill on the flank. That's when the damage is really starting to be done. And then when him and KiSMET get inside of Cantina unscathed, very difficult for Røkkr to do anything with it. 1 apiece. And I'm keen to keep an eye on Skyz. That sniper has been really, really effective for the team. Kind of continue to be so. 1 and 2 from him now. Keep an eye on Skyz.
Well, let's see. And I don't want to put anything out into the atmosphere a ton, but Major 2 vibes I was getting the other day. When Røkkr took that L in the winners bracket against Atlanta FaZe, they went out of the tournament very quickly after it. And with New York looking as hot as they are, will history repeat itself?
HyDra pushed up over towards the A side. What's the play here going to be for Subliners? Taking their time. Røkkr set up very well here. Subliners yet to really find some sort of pinch through. Starting to make a slow push now. Minnesota Røkkr happy to sit tight.
And they're waiting for the perfect opportunity. The coiled Viper. Everybody just trying to get in position, and HyDra strikes already. Looking for the second as well, but doesn't die. Managed to get out there, and New York doing everything they can. Bance will get 1 back as well, but there he's going to fall. And Attach gets 1 back at the same time. A 1 versus 2. He's going to go as well. New York wait to move, but when they move big.
Yeah, and that got a little bit scary. If Attach lines them up here, it's a dangerous fight for Priestahh to take KiSMET though with the dive. It's what keeps him very much alive, and Priestahh will find the kill. 2 and 2 from him. New York Subliners 2 rounds in a row. Røkkr, it feels like they really need to find this map. Their control has been something that's bailing them out over across the season. We talked about their hard point being great brilliantly. They lose the hard point. Control coming up next. This S&D feels essential.
Well, let's see. It's a big push again onto A. Røkkr looking for the opportunity, but New York answering back. They've got through the nade barrage. The trophy down will work out for them. And KiSMET, the dog is barking. He finds 2. HyDra's already got loose. There is no control here for Minnesota, but Bance wins that gunfight somehow. A 2 versus 2.
Kind of in a bit of a bad position here, though. What is Attach going to be able to do against HyDra? Oh, the knife's out, and he just swings it thin air. Subliners find a round. HyDra not too perplexed by what went on. And here we go, yeah, Attach, bullets in, knows he's close. Oh!
That would have taken his head clean off if he had hit it. But HyDra 6 and 2. And when the Phenom is feeling himself, everybody else shaking in their boots. Probably even Atlanta. New York looks so strong today.
And that's one particular strength you do look at from the Subliners. HyDra is somebody who may well cause issue. Grenades going over now for the side of the New York Subliners. Minnesota Røkkr just hit this, but they're going to get hit by KiSMET, who doesn't find anyone but Fame towards the end. It's the SMGs of Subliners getting the job done. Minnesota Røkkr have been battered across Mikado right now.
And there is nothing,
Wow.
not a hope, not a prayer. New York are so confident they are just hitting them over and over again. HyDra 7-2, KiSMET 5-3. The lion's share of work.
And I want to say for Røkkr here, they're going for quite a lot of headbutts over towards A. You know, we call that all the time. 4 players heading over towards Cantina. You scrap from there. It's not working. They need to change something up here. We know so many teams can go for that rotate, try and play something a little bit smarter. You've got some very good search and destroy players on your roster if you're Røkkr. You need to change something up. The big hit over towards A is simply not working.
Well, they go for a different way this time. Minnesota, maybe the adjustment, maybe everything they need, because New York have been a different team today, and you can see a little bit of back off here. There may be a misplay. Cammy, since he does have this bomb, will not get it down very, very quickly, but New York will be looking at another retake.
New York Subliners not really getting any sort of purchase over towards this A's side, but here we go as HyDra going to go for the check. Not quite, the grenade will be there. Oh, and he stops him getting the bomb down. Skyz finds Attach and KiSMET finds Cammy. Bance is able to answer back, but it's now a 2v3 for Røkkr. 4-1 down. Leaking rounds away, leaking lives away. Can they find something out of nothing here?
Oh God, there's a Phenom. A Phenom in the battle lines. A problem. Another retake here for New York. They have great position for it as well. Back down to a 2 versus 2. This has not worked for Røkkr one time in this S&D. New York feeling confident. Will they find the players? Will they find the kills? And they're already getting towards them, but nobody so far in his fame for the first. HyDra gets back down to a 1v1. HyDra is weak, but he is not out.
I'd love to see in the gunfight between HyDra and Bance, because it looks like he spits on him. He's going to fight Fame as well. 9-2 from the Frenchman. 5-1 to the good. I thought they hadn't found Bance sitting behind the hedge, but it looks like HyDra just gives him the skates.
Well, the old factory to sniff him out. And I said, Minnesota, every single time, it just doesn't go their way. And there he is, HyDra, finding Bance. The movement, the pace, the positioning. And in the end, the patience to find Fame as well.
It looks like it was maybe just a little bit of bad timing from Bance when he went round one way. HyDra started shooting him the other. It looked like a wild gunfight nonetheless. New York Subliners now 1 round away from going 2-0 up. HyDra 9-2. Working on something over towards the B side. Round number 1 is the first one that Minnesota Røkkr got, and it was the only one they've had so far. Well, there's a big hit from Subliners over towards the B side. And maybe that's making them rethink it. Skyz towards the middle of the map, looking to try and find a pick. Dead silent spot by somebody. Another first blood for Subliners, 4v3.
And this could be the end of it. Down to a 3 versus 3, but dead silence and loose and killing. 10-2 now. And there's only one player left. It's Attach in a 1 versus 3. It has been a bloodbath. It has been a beatdown. It's been a breakdown. New York have all the advantage. They held all the cards. Attach needs a miracle.
Now 6 first bloods for the side of Subliners. And Attach needs to find a 1v3 here to keep this series alive. 30 seconds to work with. Dead silence popped and very much already gone. Did KiSMET get the look on him? Yes, he did. Look at these yellow arrows now just converging onto Attach. There's one. Is the second going to follow? There it is. HyDra, 11 kills on Mikado. And New York Subliners, they're 1 map away from the grand final here in Toronto.
It is scary how good HyDra is today. The Major 1 champions have found that form again. It is a mismatch on the main stage with 3 teams remaining.
Minnesota Røkkr have not been able to bring that form today. We were kind of having a conversation in the green room after that FaZe game, thinking, oh, their head's going to be in it. Can they recover from it? Right now, they are 2-0 down against HyDra and the boys. and this is a really, really tough spot to be in now. You're going over towards El Asilo Control. We know how good that has been for them over the season. Not great recently, though. We said backs were against the wall after map number 1. Well, you're pressed up against it now. Røkkr have to bring the reverse sweep if they want to continue their day.
And you've got to ask yourself, it seemed at points to me that maybe Minnesota were a little bit timid, a little bit hesitant. They left gaps in every defense, in every time they had a hold. They didn't want to take the gunfights. They let them in. You basically just cannot let HyDra and KiSMET into your battle lines, let them into Cantina, or you are going to fail, and fail they did. But we'll have to find out, is there anything left on the main stage in Minnesota, or New York marching to a grand final? We'll have to find out in the control. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this with more Call of Duty League.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the CDL. The Call of Duty League is presented by the GMC Hummer EV Pickup, the world's first all-electric super truck. And upgrade your game with the Scuff, the official controller of the CDL.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. We have a game for you in beautiful Toronto. The main stage is pumping, the games are underway, and the trophy is up for grabs. Right now, we are about to send a team to the grand final. Will it be New York, who are already ahead, or will Minnesota rise from the ashes?
You got the Toronto thing right. We were not announcing this here anymore. We're doing great. We got accosted outside last night about it as well. But no, we are very happy to be here in Toronto, and we are excited to get into what could be the remainder of this game in this map. But let's have a look at the Scuff play of the game. I was talking about it when it happened. It looks like HyDra did some nasty things to Benjamin Bance around the hedge, and we'll get to see it fully now. Just sees the edge of his gun, runs away, swings around the other side. We'll have that, thank you very much. And then Fame from there is in an awkward spot. Oh, it's a tough one for Bance, especially with attack there, and he just reads it like a bug. Fantastic play from the Frenchman, who just took over game number 2.
I mean, I don't even know what to say about it. HyDra just hit some speed, hit some movement, and there's nothing more to say. Bance was bamboozled, and Fame run into the gunfire, but right now, Minnesota are down bad. They got battered by Atlanta. They're being beaten by New York. Is there a way back? Can they regain? Live the dream? Is there even a blossom of hope in the breast of Røkkr, or a New York on a different level?
I mean, you kind of spoke about it in major number 2 as well. Minnesota Røkkr at that stage were flying through the tournament. Looked fantastic. It got to Sunday. They didn't win a map. We're on Sunday. They are yet to win a map. Our FaZe and New York Subliners, just a challenge too big for the Minnesota Røkkr, or can they give us a hell of a series with a reverse sweep? Well, we're getting into the control. Onto Elisilo we go. Some OpTic fans might remember Minnesota Røkkr not too bad at this map, but recently the form has very much dipped. 1-5 over their last 6 after they were perfect for so long. It's going to be a big B hit coming out from Røkkr over towards this side to try and kick it off and try to kick off the comeback.
Yeah, all about the form of form. But is there anything for them here? Fame already, though, going to get that first tick in towards B. Does have some reinforcements, but has to get off the point as well. They know New York are about to descend upon them. Priestahh is here. Fame versus Priestahh, and he finds the second as well. And while Bance is coming to reinforce, it may be a second too late.
And as these kills come through for New York, it's a reminder they have got significantly better in Elisilo as Minnesota Røkkr have dropped off. You look at New York's record of 5-8. They were 1-6, 4-2 though in their last 6. And it's mostly been down to HyDra. I mean, obviously, because he finds himself inside of the middle of the map and just causes so much issue for teams when they're an attacking side, defensive side. They cannot get a look in onto HyDra. Sitting at 1-2 right now, but expect those numbers to go up as this push over towards it, starting to come through for the Minnesota Røkkr. KiSMET is there to answer things back. New York Subliners, but slowly and surely this is ticking up for Røkkr.
Tash just trying to play 2 angles here as well as his teammates keep falling by the wayside. Second tick in for Røkkr here on A. Eventually, New York are going to hit this with numbers that they can't deal with, but they have managed to. Priestahh will find Fame. Still going the way of Minnesota. They are going to get this A point.
It's over towards them. Time extended. We're looking over towards Subliners. Look where they're already setting themselves up. Over towards that green side of things. Spawn's going to be there for Fame, so he's going to run into trouble pretty quickly. Minnesota Røkkr very much in control of the middle of the map, though. And we'll look to pick their way in from the outside. Tatch will find Skyz, so first domino will fall. New York Subliners have got to hold tight here.
I've got a second. There is an opportunity. There is a potential. They've got players in the back. Bance is going for the players on spawn as well, but even if he finds this, the rest of his team have to do work as well. They're not even touching B so far. Bance is farming, but where is the rest of Røkkr and where is the rest of New York?
He's come to help his team out, but HyDra is waiting in the wings, but Bance can find 4. The spawn's still there over towards the New York Subliners side, but Røkkr are locking this one in.
They've got it. They have locked it. They have got it completely in. That is outrageous. Røkkr have finally arrived on Sunday.
It's around. It's around. Really well worked on, though. We talk about Subliners, you know, they get a hold of that field side. HyDra is sitting somewhere over towards green. Yes, I sit here. Wait. So the rest of the team cannot find a way through, though. Really good work from Bance. Gets some sort of control over towards the platform side. And as the rest of Subliners are coming off the respawn, he farms them up, and the rest of the Røkkr side have only really got to deal with 2 players between the 3 of them. They do so, and they rubber stamp what is a very, very efficient attacking round to kick off map number 3.
And for New York, they want to get this round back quickly. Don't allow Minnesota to breathe. You already see they are moving. And they're moving towards B in numbers as well. Attach and Skyz might be going at it, but KiSMET is there for the trade. And they're going to get onto B already. Minnesota have stacked in the wrong direction.
It's wide open. It's completely wide open. All of a sudden, HyDra, well, probably with an SMG, is going to push over towards Cliff side. He gets dealt with. So Røkkr now going to have to try and pick their way back in. Bance had to be a weak Skyz, who's sitting now at 1 and 6, but it's Bance on a 6 spree. Cruise missile now already in the back pocket, but some progress being made by Subliners over towards B. Røkkr need to stop the bleeding.
Trying to stay alive, trying to get out of there as well. Not going to happen. There's nobody here for Minnesota. New York will eventually move on to this point. That second tick is now going in. They're going to get KiSMET on Overwatch. Priestahh and Skyz on this point. I think B may be done.
That's gone. And that feels so easy. It never really felt like they broke Røkkr down by any sense of the imagination. They just waltzed on in and took it like taking candy from a baby. That was just so easy for New York Subliners to do that, and Røkkr will be scratching their heads right now.
Yeah, lack of getting on the flank, lack of getting anything out towards green and field control. They kept spawning him there as well. And now the A hold. It is not easy to do. Minnesota are trying to get some bodies into this point as well. HyDra versus attached. This is big if he can make it. Skyz runs onto the point. They're going to start getting that clock stopped. They've got so many times and so many lives.
1 segment gone. 2 players at minimum inside the point now, as this one is ticking up very quickly. The kills now starting to fall the way of Subliners as well. Bance and Coke, can they do anything about this? Cammy will find one. Bance on the flank will just stop this from getting any worse, but he needs the rest of the team to come and help him.
And he will fall as well. And that third tick is all that stands beside them and tying this one back up as well. Skyz is going to find a huge kill on the Fame. And they fall. They will now have to jump in. They cannot try anything. Cammy will get a trade, but he's not there. It's not good enough. And New York tie it up. Easy attacks for both sides.
I felt like Minnesota Røkkr really had to work for theirs, though, didn't they? They did the right things. They were pushing from the right angles. It was very traditional in how you will see teams get a hold of B. New York Subliners kind of ran off their spawn, didn't take any gunfights, sat on the B, and then just controlled it. It was so easy for them to do so. I think Røkkr will look back at that one and have a couple of questions, unless there was something that I've just completely missed, but it felt like they just waltzed onto the point and took it.
I think they were expecting more pressure over towards A, and that just wasn't it. And eventually New York realized they had the upper hand and struck. Well, 1-1, all tied up. Easy, quick attack so far. With Minnesota to try and do it again. New York looking to go 2-1 up in this now if they can just hold a defense.
Skyz was sitting at 0-5 now, 6 and 7, trying to step things up. Priestahh, though, has been dominating LSC, 13 and 6 from him. Usually you would have this synonymous, really, with the side of HyDra, the side of KiSMET, just getting inside and causing issue. But right now it's the Bulldog who is absolutely smoking Minnesota Røkkr. Cammy's the only one who can answer with anything. They've been forced back into their spawn again. Subliners, good start to the defensive round.
And this is always the issue. Priestahh will now run around 15 and 6 on a 4 streak. Røkkr will be coming. Where is he? Where has he gone? Where are we going? They know he lurks in the shadows.
Priestahh from behind over towards the A side. Defending this well so far. So Røkkr are posturing. They're waiting for a moment where they can start to make a move onto something. But right now, Skyz over towards the cliff side will be somebody who stops them going over towards B, but the target in their sights is A. Bance will find one on the flank. Is this the moment now for Røkkr? 24 seconds, you stop the clock.
KiSMET knows what they are as well. He's going to go for it. He knows he's got a 1v1. He wins at the same time. He knows Bance is going to be here as well. He saw him earlier. Doesn't even need to get the kill. Minnesota are failing to get into this point here. Eventually, a huge 2-piece from attach rests this round from being over.
Yeah, it was looking really bleak for the side of Røkkr, but they eventually get themselves in. And that's all it can take. For all it's felt like Subliners have dominated, it's only a 3-life disparity for Røkkr to try and bring back. A may well be gone. It looks like Subliners are going to give this one up. There may well have been one more look at it had they found the kills, but they're starting to fall, and all of a sudden Minnesota Røkkr A door is slightly ajar in this push over towards B. Spawns for Subliners coming towards the cliff though as A goes in.
This is now difficult for Røkkr. A wave of kills has to be made. But also they're going to know they haven't seen HyDra in some time. He's all the way back towards top bar. And they're not getting the kills. Attach will find one. It is still tenuous. Subliners hold everything.
Spawns is still over towards the cliffside. New York Subliners will be here very, very quickly. It's all really about Skyz, presumably, and obviously with an AR over towards that green side of the map. Keep an eye on HyDra as well. He's lingering behind them because they haven't seen anybody down the B side. They know it's going to start coming through from the A side of the map. Attach could do with finding this kill and does so. Minnesota Røkkr with a little bit of light at the end of this very dark tunnel that has been this series so far.
Attach will now try and hold off the reinforcements. Well, Røkkr trying to hold their line, but no good. Priestahh guns him out of his shots. And KiSMET will get Bance, and the time has dissipated. Røkkr's hopes of getting this attack are falling. And while they have stopped the clock, that's all they've done.
Oh, here we go. They got a kill on the flank, though. If they can get rid of Priestahh, things are looking really good. You've now just got to deal with HyDra. Sounds easy. He's able to find one. He's able to find two. HyDra! Oh, my goodness!
Oh, my goodness. HyDra will not die. He will not go away from this. And he just bleeds Røkkr all over the map, and they thought they had it for just a little bit of time. The last run of Røkkr on this. They're not even close, they're not even got a chance, surely. And the bodies, the trades. And the second will go because the Frenchman strikes again.
It's one for the ages from HyDra, stops it all on his own. Skyz is looking at his team like, how on earth have I ended up with this guy next to me? What a play from HyDra. I'm getting to see it in the best play, actually. There's the one on the Cammy.
Wow.
That's with attack, by the way. This kid's an SMG.
That is an unbelievable highlight play. And I said there's a reason to fear him today. That was almost a lot for Minnesota.
Man, Paco. Been absolutely incredible for the Subliners all season long. He's really hitting form towards these latter stages. 2-1 up now. Attack is their more favoured side when it comes down to LSCLO, and they're trying to find a way through the middle of the map. FaZe will find two, though. He's been so impressive for Røkkr in their resurgence towards the end of this season, and it's a good start for Røkkr on this defensive side. They force Subliners back. Force them back pretty far here as well. There's quite an aggressive line starting to form for Røkkr to keep Subliners away. HyDra will break that duck, though. Bance and Attach can step back, as can Skyz. The kills finding their way for Røkkr, though. Just about doing well enough here in the third round that's coming up.
Though, onto the point. He's going to force Røkkr to reconsider the way they are at the moment. Do they give away A? Bance is going to go for it as well. He's looking for KiSMET, and he finds him. It's actually a huge kill. It gives them the opportunity to get back into position, but HyDra and Priestahh working this point again. Priestahh is now going to be in. Has HyDra with him.
Big kill from Priestahh. HyDra, as you said, is there alongside of him. Bance is going to get caught, pushing over from the B side as well. A may well be just giving up over towards Røkkr, over towards Subliners. As you say, you can see Røkkr spawning towards cliff side. And I think FaZe was the last roll of the dice. A will be going over towards Subliners now. 1 minute 45 seconds to go, and HyDra has just continued to farm. That's 4 in a row now for the Frenchman, as he has his eyes set over towards B. FaZe stops the spree, but Subliners, is the damage already done for them? Can Røkkr hold on?
And they can sense it. Just the B point to go, and they get to the grand final. Still kills going towards Minnesota. But with a minute and a half on the clock, they must not break once. They will not allow them back into it.
HyDra just spawned over towards the alley side instead of over towards the back, and it means he catches Attach off guard. A little bit of a weird one for me. Skyz once finds over at the top. See, Røkkr are so worried about the flank that may well come through from the other side. They're now starting to get pushed on the cliff. New York Subliners in a really good position. FaZe has to go big for the team on the flank.
They're looking for it as well, and Cammy will find Skyz before he can do any more damage. HyDra's going to be here, though. Attach will be going down as well as Cammy. Surely he does. HyDra will find the second. He keeps hope alive. And that means Røkkr is spawning away.
FaZe stays alive over towards the backside, but only for a moment. Priestahh deals with him. Bance is able to find one in the Skyz. He gets taken down. Nobody on the flank now. Final, or maybe second to final opportunity for Subliners to close out this round. 50 seconds to go. They're inside the point.
They have to get into it. KiSMET already over the stack. HyDra's going to find two as well. New York, there comes the cruise. Bance will actually find Priestahh. Fane finds HyDra. It's all about the trades, but Røkkr is coming back off of spawn here. They are quite some distance away. That second tick is going in. KiSMET finds the first one attached. And now New York looking for that third tick. It is the last run of Røkkr in this tournament. If they do not move, they do not find the kills, New York are booking their tickets to the grand final here at the Major. It's been so long since Major 1, but they return to glory. And it was a one-sided affair.
HyDra and Priestahh doing the business for the New York Subliners, who have ran through Røkkr. The final boss of Atlanta FaZe awaits them in another grand final for the New York organization. Brilliant, brilliant game from Subliners. Their S&D is looking clean, the hard points looking scrappy, and the control, oh, so easy. Fantastic work for Subliners, and a deserved grand final spot.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that was not a close game. Røkkr were outclassed. The only silver lining for them, the only little bit of thing you can pull out from this is that top 3 just before champs isn't terrible.
No, it's not. Look, they had a nice little run through their bracket, but when it has come down to it, the top teams that you need to be going on to beat in these kind of scenarios, they were not able to rise to that task. We've seen them perform very admirably online, I want to say, over the last stage that we've seen. Famous really stepped things up today. Maybe a bit of a deer in headlights, 12 and 20 in that final game. But you've got to talk about who he's going up against. HyDra dominated across every single, well, at least the last 2. Map number 1 was a culmination of every single Subliners player playing to their highest level. We were due a 3-0. There's been quite a few this weekend, and we get one here in the losers bracket final. 250 to 198, 6-1, 3-1. Clean as you like. Yeah,
very clean, very quick, almost a mercy killing. And that's all it was, realistically. The hard point had some opportunities, the rest of it did not though, but we'll see what our desk thinks as they go and break down the game.
Thank you, gentlemen. Shout out to Brycey and Ton for another excellent cast, and congratulations to the Subliners. Another 3-0 to add to their ridiculous elimination bracket run. They are now playing for a trophy here in Toronto, and what a year it would be if you started off by winning the first and last major right before champs, Allie.
Yeah, like a little champ sandwich. Personally, I think Minnesota, I did not like the first 3 maps in the series. Maybe the LSilo because they've had previous history on it, but having that hotel that New York just beat Toronto against when that was at their best map and mode, as well as that Mercado Search and Destroy where we saw what they did, what Skyz did with the sniper rifle. We got a 2-peat here in this series, but I mean, I do have to tip my hat Minnesota for making it this far. I don't think many people put them in Sunday.
No, top 3 twice on this season, and that is going to be the end of Minnesota Røkkr's major, but they will be playing next month as we head to Vegas in champs. New York Subliners, though, they're not done yet. And as we take a look back at our highlights from game number 3, another clean sweep. What is it about this event? What has New York found that's been missing, Ant?
I mean, well, somebody answer this question for me because none of the pro teams can do it. I mean, HyDra, every time you think you're about to cap the B point, what happens on your screen right now? He finds a miraculous 3-piece. You think you cleared everybody out and you're about to go put them in a spawn trap. Nope, he's behind you and he finds another 2-piece. The ability that HyDra has to find kills, get away with his life is the best in the world.
Best
and then
in the game.
You combo that with pure and raw top-tier gunny, you have an unstoppable player, man. I mean, he's dropping dub digits in every S&D, making the impact plays, and the supporting cast is playing great. Priestahh as well, unbelievable series.
We saw this back at Major 2. It happens to the Røkkr again after falling in the winner's bracket. They bomb out of the tournament and will be taking home 3rd place. But 80 grand, not a bad weekend of work for playing Call of Duty. You take a look at the numbers here from the Subliners. HyDra, the Frenchman, clearly the MVP, but the whole team chiming in, Jay.
Oh, yeah. New York Subliners, obviously, they're coming off of the W versus Toronto. You're still feeling good. The guns are still firing on all cylinders. But HyDra right now, like the Desk just touched on it, Allie and Nameless just said it, he's looking like the best player in the game. His respawn has always been up to par, but the way that he's been taking over in these search and destroys, winning crucial one-on-ones, he's just Mr. Do-It-All right now for the Subliners roster. And if he continues to play like this, it's going to be very difficult for the Atlanta FaZe Tiny Terrors. And I feel like you never say that about that SMG duo.
Let's take a look at the Frenchman one more time. It's your scuff play of the game. And Jay, walk me through this play. Bance looks like he has his number, but HyDra flips the script.
It's unbelievable, like what this guy's able to do. In the search and destroy, it's a 2v2 scenario. Now, HyDra knows that he has to take a little bit of ground. It's still position unknown, but he gets the info with the movement, is able to win the one-on-one. That's insane. You're probably thinking you turn that corner, it's a freebie for Bance, but HyDra, that's just what he does. And then he plays the one-on-one to perfection. He knows that Fame was watching it through mid-tunnel. He's not gonna commit on that angle to watch that site. He wraps back to try to take control of hedge, and HyDra just holds strong on his position and makes that play happen.
After watching Attach for Minnesota Røkkr clutch up on Saturday, a lot of people were saying, is Attach the most ice man in this tournament left? Might be HyDra right now. The guy has been pure in his 1v1s. Big shout out to everyone who's been tuning in from around the world, the Swiss fans, the Dutch fans, and everyone who traveled from Europe to tune into this event live in Toronto. But remember, it's both Europe and North America featured in our World Series of Warzone, and all the action is going down June 7th and June 8th. Twitch.tv/Call of Duty is the place for the greatest Warzone gameplay on the planet. We got to go to a break. When we come back, there is one last thing to do live in Toronto. We've got your grand finals. Who is going to take it for the second time? It's either Atlanta FaZe or New York Subliners.